we arrive at the Owyhee River to start fishing for bass. We see there's an old cow keeping track of things for us as she swats some flies off her back. This is a very nice, clean, pretty river to fish in, and the only thing that's here are a few cows standing around eating the green grasses along the Owyhee River. Marge baits her hook and throws out to see if she can catch one of these smallmouth, and usually it always works. The fish are biting a little bit too good today. Within just a few minutes, she has a big stringer of fish, and so we won't fish a whole long time today since the fishing's so good and we're catching so many. We'll take them back and I'll fillet them and we'll eat them. But first we're going to go to Willow Creek Hot Springs and test the water. Willow Creek Hot Springs has a bunch of beaver dams in Willow Creek, and the hot springs just flows out of the ground right up from Willow Creek, so there's a lot of cattails around, which makes for ideal habitat for a lot of birds. Lots of blackbirds and other birds are there. We soak in the Willow Creek Hot Springs for a while, and it sure was nice. Anytime you've been fishing, it really feels good to go to the hot springs. But now we get back to our trailer house, and it looks like I'm elected to do the work here. I'm going to fillet these fish out, and then we're going to have some and see how good they taste. They're always just excellent. The smallmouth are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the better eaten of all fish. I'm glad we didn't catch too many of them because it seems to take me forever to fillet them. I'm getting better at it where I can do it a little faster now than I used to, but still it takes quite a bit of time. But it's well worth the effort of filleting them out, because then you can get rid of the skin and a big share of the bones, and you have nothing but a good piece of smallmouth bass meat to eat. While I'm filleting the bass out, she's getting the potatoes ready to put on, and so we're going to have us a feed second to none here when I get done with the filleting job. It takes quite a while to fillet them out though, but they're really some good eating when you do. I took a few seconds off the filleting to hook the barbecue up for her, and she says she's already got the potatoes on for me to hurry and get those fish filleted so we can have some baked potatoes and fish and maybe something else. Meanwhile, there's ant hills all around the place, and those little ants get them a temporary set of wings and fly around, and then when they find a place they like, they drop the wings and become an ant once again. There's plenty of them around, and I think these ground squirrels eat some of them, since the ground squirrels are omnivores. They can eat insects and mice and small lizards and fruits and nuts and grass seed. You name it, they can probably eat it. She has already got a salad made, and she's after me about those ants. There's not a thing I can do about them but just let them finish their lifestyle. They drop their wings when they find a place they want to live and go in and just leave the wings lay there.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll put about 1/4 of a cup
1/4 of a cup of, what was that you put in there?
That was just cornmeal.
Cornmeal, 1/4 of a cup of cornmeal.
And I'll just put I think just equal amount. I'll just put 1/4 of a cup of the flour too and mix it.
And 1/4 of a cup of flour to mix with the cornmeal.
I have an extra plate here, I guess.
Okay.
I'll just mix them together.
You're mixing the cornmeal and the flour together.
And I'll just put a little pepper and salt in it.
Little bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt.
This salt should come out. Then I'll spray this a little bit so that they won't.
Spray just a little cooking spray on there so it won't stick. And yummy, it looks like we're going to have an ant for supper to go along with it.
And I have 1 egg in here.
1 egg.
Maybe I'll just use this. I'll set this aside. I'll take it in. This is the bass.
These are the smallmouth bass that we caught down in the Waihe River yesterday, where we did pretty good on the smallmouth bass.
I'll just dip it in the egg mixture.
Dip it in the egg and then
Roll it.
Roll it in the flour.
And I'll just lay it right here in this.
There's a few ants on her back. I hope we get a few ants mixed with that fish. They ought to make it real good. What was that?
That was 2.
2 bass.
That was a 2 big bass.
Yeah.
Now, brush this off. I'll just move this over here. Let's just be nice, okay?
Leave the ant on there. They'll
Here.
make a good flavor.
I'll just set these on the corner. And in case I need a pot holder to lift up this handle. I should have put those over a little bit.
Well, I'll hand you a fork.
That's getting pretty hot.
Are they getting done?
Yeah, I think so. This is getting pretty warm. Now I'll warm up this. This is getting too warm over there. Let's turn this down a little bit. Shut it.
Do those potatoes feel
Not
done?
quite. That side's getting done. Tom, let's get...
Just a gentle desert breeze blowing tonight. A real nice sunny evening.
Turn those better with a turner.
How are the potatoes?
I think the potatoes are done too. The fish, I think, are done too. Oh yeah. There. I'll just put the potatoes here, and I'll get the fish off.
Ready to shut the machine off?
Yeah, we'll shut this off. Goes off this way. This way is off, or this way is off? There it says off. Are they both off?
I think so.
Okay, let's get this off. Piece is stuck. Okay. I'll just set these on the table. And here's the potatoes. And here's some dressing. Here, can you hand me the tongs for the salad? There you go. Yeah, I want a little salad dressing.
After we finish our excellent fish dinner, we looked over in the west, and here was a sunset to die for. The sun is settling down behind the Staines Mountain, and there's enough smoke in the atmosphere to give it a lot of color. I think some of that smoke's coming from the Oregon fire and some from Canada. A little beetle hurries and scampers out of the way under a full half moon. Another very calm day, and we're getting ready to go fishing. A 1.5-year-old buck antelope stands and watches us as we're heading fishing. He's getting real important at that age. He's nibbling a few of the tips off the sagebrush as he walks through the desert. He sure likes those nice fresh tips on the sagebrush. Then he wanders out into the desert, but he keeps looking back like he's waiting for someone. And then we look, and here she is, a little doe coming. Oh, that's still him, but in just a little bit. There she is. A little doe comes to join him, and she's got little horns too, which some of the does do, but they're not nearly as massive as the bucks, and they don't fork usually. And the bucks have a lot more black spots on their chin and on their nose. It's much darker than the does. So this is the little buck here, and the little doe, she has wandered off someplace else. But he decided it was time to get in a hurry. So now we're almost to the Owyhee River. As we go down, the last little neck of it is a dirt road down to the river. So we'll go down there and see what we can catch in the way of bass. And it's always been good. And so Marge gets there,
Marge has got one.
got her hook in the water, and no more than got it in the water, and she had a fish on. So it's starting to look like it's going to be good fishing again today. There's sort of a little eddy here, and we throw out net. We use just a wedding ring that you buy at Bi-Mart or someplace, and then we'll put a bobber above it and a worm on, and that way you're not getting snagged on the bottom all the time, and the hook drifts right through the hole, and it seems to be the best thing we've found for catching them. And she's got another on already. And there he is, another nice little smallmouth bass on the bank. The fishing is just excellent today. I've got to try to stop her before she gets too many of them. If she gets a bunch of them, I spend most of my time filleting them. And now I throw out there, and I've finally got one on. And he's fighting like fury right in the shallow waters of the Owyhee River. I thought the river might be a little muddy due to all the rain we've had, but it looks nice and clear. And as near as I know, there's no one lives above this spot on the river. Maybe there is that I don't know about, but anyway, it's a real nice clean river.
That's a nice bass. Okay. Sometimes they come clear down here before they bite.
Yeah. Right in this little eddy's where we like to fish. We just throw it out in the still water and just let it move over toward the current. And almost every cast you'll catch a nice smallmouth bass in here. And we have even caught channel cats here, but not on this trip. No, I was going to get a picture of you catching one, but
Of what?
you catching one.
Well, that might take a while.
Looks like her bobber's beginning to move a little bit. Maybe one of them's nibbling, and sure enough, she caught one. And then
Come over
another.
here where I can get a picture of you landing.
What?
This time she's got something
Get what?
that really took off
Get me landing?
when it bit, and when he got in the shallow water I could see he was big, and then I could see he was a carp.
Don't get excited. I'll just bring him up to shore if he's ready. Just sliding right up on the beach here. Okay, now you need to get a hold of him.
Here, wait a second. I'll get him. Why, she's a big one. Look at that.
Now take a rock and beat him in the head.
That's enough filming him, I guess. My glasses are all wet. Okay. There.
Okay, take a rock and beat him in the head.
I guess I caught one for Margaret. Okay. I don't want to do it on... I don't have him hooked very well.
Here's these pliers. You want the pliers?
Yeah. I need the pliers.
We have some friends from Germany, and they really enjoy eating carp. They say they're one of the better fish they ever eat. So I'm saving it for them. And I told them not to invite any Americans. No American would be hungry when they found out it was carp.
Did he break it off?
You got him.
Huh?
You got it.
I know, but there's another hook someplace. I don't think I got both my hooks.
Okay, hold him up and let's see.
See? Big old carp.
Yeah.
The big carp.
Yeah, how did he feel when he was on your hook?
Well,
He fought pretty
he
hard?
fought really hard. I had to tighten my line. Is he fighting?
He's fighting pretty good. Maybe a pretty good size one. Here he comes. You see what he is?
No. It's a bass. There you go. Lift him up. He's a nice one. Okay.
It seems like the bite is about over for the day, so I think we'll take the fish we've got and call it a day. And really, we got plenty of fish, And the carp, I filleted him out and saved him for the German people to eat, since they enjoy them. Every evening, as the sun sets behind Steen's Mountain, we get a real show. There's enough smoke in the area to give it a lot of color, and it's so quiet and peaceful here. We're about 7 or so miles from the nearest road, so we hear no road noise, but there is the horses again, and it looks like that same group of 4 stallions out there grazing away in the meadow on our daughter's property. We call these stallions satellite stallions because they're old stallions that can no longer fight for their position in the herd, and they keep the herd in sight so the herd's not too far away. We get back and check the ground squirrels, and they would sure love to have a nice peanut. And there he is, and I believe that's old Half-Tail himself. You can see he only has half a tail, and I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe it's something to do with genetics on him. I've never heard of one to only have a half tail, unless maybe something's bit it off, and so I was thinking that was probably what happened, till I saw his identical twin with only a half tail too. So we've got half tail 1 and half tail 2 here. This one has a normal long tail like a normal ground squirrel would have, and half tail only has about half that amount. Marge threw them out some regular cracked peanuts, and they can haul a lot more of them because they can shove them in their cheek patch. You can see his cheek patch is expanding like he's got a major case of mumps. But he'll pack as many as he can, and then he disappears, and I'm not sure what he's doing with them, whether he's sharing them with his family or burying them for himself for later. But he's sure poking them in there. But he'd rather have the whole peanuts and shell them himself. These ground squirrels are sure looking good. They're nice and slick and clean looking. I don't know how they can stay that clean living underground. But here's old Half-Tail again. And you can see he's only got half a tail. And I don't remember whether this is Half-Tail 1 or Half-Tail 2. I really couldn't tell them apart. But anyway, they seem to be just normal, everyday ground squirrels, except for the tail. There he is again, and that's either Half-Tail 1 or Half-Tail 2. That's a real strange thing, the way they only have half a tail. But they're feisty little guys, and they look totally normal for a ground squirrel, other than just having half a tail. And he's flagging it just like the ones do that have a whole tail, only his just doesn't come up behind his head like the rest of them do. I'm going to continue watching these squirrels and see if I see any more with only a half tail. This one has a real nice big flat tail, and they're constantly flicking that. I guess that's their communications as he goes about filling his little cheek pouch full of peanuts. That ought to do him a while. Then
this will be our final sunset.
this will be our final sunset in the desert. Real peaceful, calm evening out tonight. Just a great time. Real early the next morning, I looked out, and what do I see? It's the herd of mares and colts with a few stallions in it. Probably only about 2 stallions for that many mares and colts. Then it's time to go, and so we go by Fort Rock and then on over. We were going to go look at Cow Cave. Now that's the one that Cressman dug there in the 1930s, I believe it was, and found the first evidence of man being here about, it was thought to be about 10,000 years ago, but they've changed that number a lot now with new dating techniques, and they found that man has been here for about 20,000 years, or even in some cases more. But they were here around Fort Rock. Now there's a museum here, and
there's
open.
Fort Rock Cave. That's the oldest known civilization in North America, according to Cressman.
This information has changed
And here's Fort
considerably
Rock.
since then.
All this area used to be a great big inland sea, and these rock places stuck above it. And so when the sea was starting to drain, then man moved into Fort Rock Cave, and according to Cressman, there were like duck bones and fish bones and things on the lower level, and then as it started drying out, they found mammal remains. There was even in some of the areas out here, there's woolly mammoth remains. Really a coarse texture on part of this.
Fort Rock was a lava formation that stuck above the waters of the Great Basin. As the Great Basin started drying up, then you can see the wave marks on the rock at different levels as the water receded. Out in this area, there have been campsites found where there was the atlatl. Now that's the throwing stick that the Indians used before the bow and arrow was developed. And also in some of these campsites, there's a bunch of bone material, and this bone material is so old that some of it has fossilized. So it's really a neat place to visit. And this would be the west end of Fort Rock right here. And you can see where the water lines were as the Great Basin receded. just west of Fort Rock is another outcropping that stood above the water level, and that's where Cressman dug and found these amazing artifacts. On the far lower level, it was duck bones and fish bones, and then as the Great Basin dried up, they found mammal bones on the upper level, and that would be things like tiny horses and tiny camels that are all extinct now, and also some woolly mammoth parts were found in this area. We're up in a really nice pine forest now with some really huge pine trees.